What if I told you there's a Titan build that deletes champions without relying on your artifact mods? Tired of getting slammed by champions just because you forgot to equip your artifacts? This Void Titan build changes everything. You'll one-hit every champion type in the entire game without needing a single seasonal artifact mod. That's right, no artifacts, no problem. You can stun every kind of champion effortlessly. If this build sounds fun or even straight up broken, the build link will be in the description. And hey, consider hitting that subscribe button to help me finally beat the YouTube algorithm. If you guys need help in Destiny 2, I do a boatload of helps whenever I go live on Twitch and Kick. I go live on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. PST, an hour before reset. All right, so without further ado, let's head to this one-hit Void Titan build. Okay, this build is mainly focused in Grandmaster Nightfalls, but you can also use this build in any other activity that has mini bosses, tormentors, or champions. But I am mostly using this build in Master Lost sectors and also Grandmaster Nightfalls, because both of those activities have a bunch of champions. Okay, in order for you to insta-kill tormentors, mini bosses, and champions, you're going to want to equip this exotic like armor piece called the Peregrine Greaves. So it would basically enhance your damage with all of your shoulder charge abilities. So it would deal bonus damage whenever you were to activate this within the air. So as you're running towards anything and you're charging up your shield bash, your seismic strike, or your hammer strike, once it's fully charged, jump into the air and you'll see that buff indicator on the left side of your screen, which is called Peregrine Strike. As soon as you see that, you could be able to shield bash, seismic strike, or hammer strike that enemy. But be sure to damage a mini boss, tormentor, or a champion because it will refund your melee. When it comes to the Titan subclass for the Sentinel on your super, you can freely choose any super you like, but I feel most comfortable going for Twilight Arsenal because this is a high damage super compared to the other supers, and it also weakens enemies. And the weaken will give you a 15% increase in damage to that weakened target. When it comes to the abilities, for your class ability, you're going to want to go for Rally Barricade because of the base cooldown, and you're also going to be getting multiple benefits whenever you're standing behind the Rally Barricade, such as increasing your weapon reload speed, stability, and range. For your Void melee, you're gonna have to go for Shield Bash if you're gonna want to insta-kill tormentors, mini bosses, or champions. And also too, as you were to get a direct hit with your Shield Bash, it will grant you an overshield and will suppress the target. For your Void Grenade, you can freely choose any grenade you like, but I feel most comfortable going for Vortex Grenade. If you want to increase your damage even further to mini bosses, tormentors, or champions, I would recommend tossing your grenade at them to weaken them. And in order for us to weaken them, we're going to be using a fragment for this build, but we'll get onto that later. For your aspects, be sure to go for Offensive Bulwark. This is the main aspect that will enhance your melee damage even further, as long as you have an overshield. We're going to be having multiple ways for us to generate a overshield. So here are the benefits whenever you have a overshield while you have this Void aspect. It would make your grenade charge really fast, and you would have increased range and damage. Also too, when you get a melee final blow, it will restore a small portion of your overshield, and it would also extend it. The next aspect you're going to want to put is Bastion. This is one way to generate a overshield. So whenever you cast your super or activate your Rally Barricade, it will grant you an overshield. And as you were to stand behind your barricade, it will slowly regenerate your overshield. And this will also apply to your allies as well. And it would also extend the duration for your overshield. So here's the gameplay loop for this build. You're first going to want to activate your Rally Barricade to get you that guaranteed overshield to increase your damage because of Offensive Bulwark. Once you have that overshield, be sure to stun that champion. Once that champion is stunned, run like hell to charge up your Shield Bash. Once it's fully charged, jump into the air and be sure to pay attention to that buff on the left side of your screen. And once you see the buff called Peregrine Strike, be sure to activate your Shield Bash and that champion will get insta-killed. Rinse and repeat. For the fragments, there's going to be 4 in total, and the first one you're going to want to put is Echo of Starvation. This is the main source of survivability for this build. So whenever you pick up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power, it will grant you Devour. Devour is the main source because while you have Devour activated, it will grant you Grenade Energy, and it would also extend Devour. So whenever you get kills with Devour, it will give you HP. So you're going to be relying on getting kills to survive. Also too, whenever you were to collect a Void Breach, it will grant you class ability energy. That is extremely good because we are relying on our Rally Barricade to give us that overshield. The second fragment, be sure to go for Echo of Persistence just to increase the duration for an overshield and Devour. Also too, you can do it with invisibility, but in this build, we're not going to be activating that. I just put this fragment just to survive longer because of Devour, and also also to give us more of a chance to get that guaranteed one-shot kill while we have our overshield to activate the Peregrine Greaves buff. The third fragment will give us the ability to increase our damage even further with our shield bash, and it's called Echo of Undermining. This fragment will give your grenades the ability to weaken targets, and again, if you didn't know, weakening a target increases your damage output by 15%. So once you stun the champion, toss your nade to weaken him, then do that shield bash strat, and he will most likely die. The final fragment you're going to want to put is Echo of Cessation, just because I want to spawn in Void Breaches just to give me more class ability energy. So in order for you to produce a Void Breach, you're going to have to defeat volatile targets. And the only way for us to defeat volatile targets is by using our primary weapon and our heavy weapon. Also too, when you were to get a finish your final blow, it will create a Void Burst that will damage nearby targets and it will cause them to become volatile. The weapons for this build I put when it comes to stunning every champion in the game, you're gonna have to go for this stasis sidearm called the Tanasha's Mastery. The only perk you would need if you want to stun overload champions and unstoppable champions is Chill Clip, because this perk by itself will slow targets, and as you're continuously hitting that slow target, they will eventually freeze, and if you were to shatter that frozen target, you will stun them if you were to deal this to an unstoppable champion. So 1 shot to stun overload champions and 4 shots to stun unstoppable champions from this sidearm. And for the third perk column, be sure to go for either Loose Change to increase your reload speed, or if you want to get more ammo within your magazine / reserves, go for Air Trigger. So let's head to the primary weapon. To be honest, you can really choose any void weapon in the game as long as it has destabilizing rounds and repulsor's brace. But in this build video, I really enjoy using the Reckless Oracle because of the origin trait. But first, let's talk about what destabilizing rounds does. So whenever you were to defeat a target, it will create a Void Burst. If you were to hit other targets with that Void Burst, it would make them volatile, and it would also grant you volatile rounds. So as you have volatile rounds on, it will grant your void weapons anti-barrier rounds that will grant you the ability to stun anti-barrier champions. And as we are killing volatile enemies, we're going to be activating the fourth perk column called Repulsor's Brace. When defeating a void debuff target that will be, for example, suppression, weaken, or volatile, it will grant you an overshield. And again, we do need an overshield to increase our shield bash damage even further for Peregrine Greaves. So this is the second way to give us a void overshield. And remember why I told you why I put this auto rifle because of the origin trait. It's called Photo Inhibition. This weapon deals bonus damage to combatant shields and targets with overshields. So for example, you're just seeing an enemy with an arc shield, a solar shield, etc. And when you break a combatant shield, it will disorient them. So that means that the enemy can't be able to shoot you. They'll just walk around looking dumb. But if you were to break an energy matched shield, it will disorient that enemy and everything around him. So this is a void weapon. So you're mainly going to want to focus on void shield enemies if you're going to want to blind everything around them, which is extremely good for crowd control. The exotic weapon I chose to put for this build is this void machine gun called the Deterministic Chaos. Yes, I already probably know in the comments you're probably gonna say, oh, this LMG is horrible, don't even use it. The only reason why I chose to put this machine gun is to give me that guaranteed way to stun anti-barrier champions. That's the only reason why, but if you don't like to use this machine gun, you can use any other exotic weapon in the game. But that's the reason why I chose to put this machine gun. But if you are one of those gamers that do want to use this exotic but don't know what it does, let me explain. So while you were holding down the trigger, every 4th shot will give you this heavy metal projectile that will weaken the target on impact, and that weakening effect will give you a 15% increase in damage. The perk for this machine gun is called Heavy Metal. While you are holding down the trigger, every 4th bullet becomes a heavy projectile that makes them volatile on impact. So this LMG will weaken and make them volatile. I also want to let you guys know that this machine gun has a very big kick to it, and if your aim is horrible, be sure to control the recoil. Okay, for the seasonal artifacts, I did let you guys know in the beginning of the video that I was not using any seasonal artifacts whatsoever, but I know one of you guys are probably going to want to know what artifacts I would like to use if I were to use it for this build. So I guess here, just take a picture and copy it. Here you go. Let's head to which stat you should be able to focus on. Your first main priority is to go for resilience to give you that 30% damage reduction. Also too, this is a Titan build, so resilience ties to Titans. So it would now reduce the base cooldown for your rally barricades. So the higher it is, the less cooldown you're going to be getting for your barricades. And your second priority, I would recommend you were to go for discipline to reduce your grenade cooldown. Or you could also go for strength if you really want to focus on reducing your cooldown for your melee ability. So for the armor mods, if you would like to copy it, feel feel free to do so. I was going to explain each and every one of them, but I know the video is going to be way too long. So here, just copy everything as what you see right here for the armor mods. If you guys did enjoy this one-shot build video, I really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed already to hit that subscribe button and also that like button, because we are so very close to reaching 9,000 subscribers. And I appreciate all of the love and support. If you are looking to find people to play with, or just want to have fun, or just farm some weapons, or anything that relates to Destiny 2, join my Discord. It would be in the description. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, or afternoon. Take care and peace.